I'm way too familiar with avoiding cold calling. I'm way too familiar with it. I lost I've tracked $1.6 million in lost listing commissions over the last 5 years. I'm way too familiar with it. I figured it out. I figured it out for my agents, and I'll show you how by the end of this video. But let's talk about this for a bit. There's a list of things you need to do to get the ball moving in your business. You got to make calls, maybe go door knock, open house. You got to follow up with people. There are things you got to do. And let's be honest, like every realtor knows this. Sometimes you just don't want to do it at all. Like there's something more important to do. Just something gets in the way. Like you got to go make sure your house is clean. Or you got to go clean your car instead, or walk your dog. Maybe you got to go to the gym instead because that's what's going to get you motivated. You just can't, function without going to the gym. Maybe you got to go cook a meal right now because you need some food in you, or maybe you got to go take a nap. Whatever you choose as your distraction is all garbage. But because you do this, your business is very inconsistent. You close a deal, you go a while without any closings, and you're like, wow, where is my next check coming from? And then eventually you close a deal, and then you're like, uh-oh, I'm back to broke. And I see a lot of agents go through this up and down cycle of inconsistency until they either quit or figure it out. And I'm about to show you how to figure it out. When I used to go through this, I was 3 years in, and it was so inconsistent that every time I ran out of money, I would have to go back to door dashing until I got another check coming in. And that cycle happened about 4 or 5 times for me, and it was so frustrating. I remember being like basically depressed in my bed. I was living with my parents, depressed, because I really just couldn't see a path forward. I was like, I know what to do. I know that if I do door knocking and cold calling, I know it's going to be fine. But why can I not get myself to do these things? I just can't figure it out. Why is there so much hesitation and resistance? It was driving me mad. I was literally 3 years into the business and not able to find consistency in my business. I knew the sales skills. I knew how to set an appointment, but I just couldn't get myself to do it. Do the calls, do the follow-up, call the client, schedule the open house, post the thing on social media. There was like a list of things that I just couldn't get myself to do. And there was a moment where I just felt so utterly hopeless and defeated. And I just couldn't see the path forward. And while I was in this pit, I was trying to figure out, do I need to get myself on Adderall? Am I lacking dopamine? Do I need to meditate? Do I need to journal? Do I need to say my gratitudes and affirmations every morning? Do I need to go to the gym? What do I need to eat cleaner? Am I lacking sleep? What is this? I can't figure it out. And what I realized is this. I feared failure. I feared the possibility of failure, and cold calling. If the call didn't go well, it means I would fail, and I feared that, so I just wouldn't do it. But I also feared embarrassment of I feared embarrassment of what other people would think of me. So to avoid the failure, the embarrassment from the failure, I just wouldn't even try. I also feared rejection. I did not want to be rejected. I didn't want to face that, so I didn't want to cold call. I also didn't feel good enough or capable of convincing these homeowners to work with me. Why would they? I haven't sold much homes. Why would they work with me? And all these fears were just stopping me from wanting to cold call. Of course, obviously. If there was a bear in a cave, why would I go into that cave? If there was a shark in the ocean, why would I go into the ocean? And if I feared failure and embarrassment, why would I make calls? Once I removed my fear of failure and embarrassment, I actually have a video on it. It's my very first YouTube video on my YouTube channel. That is a video I recorded the moment that my life changed. And you can see it. You could see it. I had this eye-opening realization that literally changed the trajectory of my life. and I have it recorded on YouTube. You could go take a look at it. I'll link it in the description. So let's go back to those fears that I had, those beliefs that I have. Those are called limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are basically beliefs that we learn as children from the people around us, whether they mean to or not. They install beliefs into us, or through experiences, you create beliefs when you're a child, and they form and shape how our life goes, basically, because all of your behaviors, actions, decisions, and choices are all based on what you believe. So, for example, over the last 5 years, I've personally consulted with over 600 real estate agents, and it's clear as day. The ones that really struggle with inconsistency in their business and the ones that don't are the ones that are held back by their limiting beliefs. Like when an agent comes into my six-figure listing agent coaching program, the sales coaching program, where you learn how to take more, like 1 to 4 listings a month. When an agent is held back by their limiting beliefs, it's really hard for them to get themselves to want to cold call, because maybe they fear failure. Maybe they don't feel good enough. Maybe they don't feel ready or prepared. And also, when it comes time to role play, those agents typically don't show up or raise their hands to participate in the role play because they fear judgment, or they fear embarrassment, or the opinions of others. And because of these beliefs that they hold, they can't get results. It's like rolling a boulder up a hill. It's like, how can you expect to take listings if you're too afraid of embarrassment and judgment to get better and practice your skill? And how do you expect to get new clients and take listings and make money if you're too afraid to fail? Even some people are afraid to succeed because of what that could mean for them in the future, or they're afraid of rejection, or they just don't feel good enough or capable or deserving or worthy of. So they're not going to put themselves in a position where they can get a new client. And let's do a little thought experiment here. Let's just say you no longer fear failure. It's not even a thing. And let's say rejection also is not a thing. You don't fear rejection or failure at all. In fact, you believe that after you call 10 people, someone's going to say, yes, please come over. If you knew that, if you believed that, would you really have a hard time getting yourself to cold call? No. You don't fear failure, you don't fear rejection, and you think something good is going to happen. Now, the difference between the outcome of not calling them and calling them is merely just a difference of what you believe about the situation. So the question is, how do we get you or an agent to remove these limiting beliefs? Because think about it. What kind of limiting beliefs has been holding you back in your business? Or maybe even your personal life, your relationships, your money habits? A limiting belief is typically, here's 2 ways you could find that you have one. Number 1 is where you consistently don't get the outcome you want, or there are just negative patterns that repeat over and over again in your life. And not only can this look like, an issue with the consistency in your business, you can also date the certain kind of person, or the relationship ends a certain way kind of every time, or you have a repeating issue with money and how you hold on to it or use it and spend it. This can surface in all areas of your life. So think, where are these negative patterns in my life? And what is the belief that's driving this issue, this pattern, this behavior, these decisions? And imagine if you no longer had that belief. Imagine that you got the desired outcome now. How would that change your life? What would be possible? Let's just say you remove the limiting beliefs to get yourself to start cold calling consistently with no resistance. How would that change your life? You'd probably make more money, obtain financial freedom, be able to do what you want in your life. And let's be honest, let's be real here. Okay, I might strike a chord here. We all, probably, I'm guilty of this. We all have a vision board that we made a long time ago. But because we just consistently didn't hit the vision board, it's you got discouraged from that vision board, and it's no longer I don't know if that resonates with you, but that's something that for 3 years I was inconsistent with my business, and I was nowhere near hitting my goals. So I kind of threw my vision board away. But like, imagine if you were able to, with no resistance, hit the goals that you've set for yourself. How would that change your life? How would that change your money, your family relationship, your personal loving relationships, your friends, your community? How would that change your freedom? How would that change everything? So if you're a follower of the channel, you know that back in January, I hosted a retreat, an immersive event called Limit Breaker. And it's where I taught six real estate agents, how to remove their limiting beliefs. And they spent 3 days removing their limiting beliefs. And what happened as a result of that has been absolutely astounding. One of the agents there that just couldn't get himself to consistently cold call, couldn't walk into the appointment confident. This agent, after trying for like 9 months, took his very first 3 listings about a month after removing his limiting beliefs. Another one of the agents that attended Limit Breaker, his confidence shot through the roof, hired an ISA, takes like a minimum of 4 to 5 listings a month, and just bought his very first rental property. Another agent was fearful of working with people outside of her ethnicity and feared failure and rejection from phone calls, so she just wouldn't do it. And now she's having conversations with me saying, Aaron, my new goal is 100K month minimums. It's been absolutely insane to watch the growth and the trajectory change of these agents after they removed their limiting beliefs. Because after they did, their behaviors and decisions and choices and actions completely changed. If you'd like to work with me on removing your limiting beliefs, you could book a call in the link below. But I really wanted to make this video to let you know the limiting beliefs is the reason. It's not meditation, journaling, affirmations, dopamine. It's none of that. That's all bullshit. I'm here to tell you, it is your limiting beliefs that are in the way. It is your fear of blank. It is the outcome that you believe is going to happen as a result of you doing the thing, whatever it is that you're avoiding. Find that belief and remove it and watch your life change.